right, mo ho ho, MoBeer. We're back to Beer Advent. It is December 15th, 10 days till Christmas. And so I am here as your public service announcement to help you choose beers as gifts. You're drinking beers for the Christmas season and beyond. And today we are going to talk about light beers. I've got Coors Light, Bud Light, and Miller Lite, the three big boys of the light beer industry. So a little bit about light beer. Here's the great thing. The great thing about beer is there's a beer for everybody. And it's okay. Whatever you choose to drink is absolutely okay. Beer pairs with a number of different foods with a number of different beers. You like light beers? That's cool. You like dark beers? That's cool. I'm just here to give you a public service announcement, to give you a little education behind what you give, what you drink, what you put in your body, some history, some knowledge, some education, so that, again, you can make educated decisions yourself. So light beer actually started in 1967. James something or other, a biochemist, came up with an enzyme that breaks down the starches in your beer, and it makes more sugars so that when the yeast are activated, the yeast eat more sugars, and therefore you have less calories in your beer. And so the first diet beer was born. Didn't really take off, wasn't a real big deal. A couple of different companies tried it out, Rheingold being one of them, Meisterbrau being another. Meisterbrau put it out with the Lite spelling as opposed to Light. So you had the Meisterbrau Light. Didn't work out for Meisterbrau either. 1972, Miller picks it up and calls it Miller Lite, Lite. They buy the name, they buy the recipe, they trademark the name, and that's why they're the only ones that you'll ever see that have the Lite spelling on it. So really wasn't a hit out of the bat for them until in the late 70s and early 80s they came out with the tastes great, less filling commercials that included Too Tall Jones and Dick Butkus and Red Auerbach and Rodney Dangerfield and all those guys. It was a real big, huge marketing campaign that helped bring light beers mainstream for all the tough guys and the sports watchers and things like that. It made it okay, and Miller Lite soon became the number 2 selling beer in America, and really in the world actually. That was until about 1982 when Budweiser came up with their own Bud Lights, and Bud Lights became the number 1 selling beer in the world, even passing the king of beers, Budweiser itself. So little history behind the name of lights. I told you how it makes it light. Here's the thing about light beers though. Light beers go anywhere from about 95 calories with your Amstel Light to about 110 calories with your Bud Lights. Not as big a difference between other beers as people might think, because you want a nice Guinness is 120 calories. You want an IPA, most IPAs run about 160, 170 calories. So there's not a whole lot of difference. If you're that person saying, yeah, I drink Bud Light because I got to watch my figure, or I don't want to put any weight on, or I just need to be able to drink it all day long. Branch out, try other beers as well. For me, light beers are ballpark beers. I love a good Coors Light at Fenway Park and the bleachers on a hot sunny day. I can sit there and I can drink a number of them cold, because it's refreshing more than it is about the alcohol content, because your light beers have low alcohol content. Usually somewhere in the low 4s is their alcohol by content. Here's the problem, and here's the problem with marketing with beers, and here's where it's led us. Is that Coors Light being the biggest victim and the biggest influence when it comes to cold beer, the cold filtered beer. And you know, what do they always talk about? They talk about the Rockies and making sure that it's cold activated, and you know that when the label is blue. That's a problem. Here's the problem with that. Beer is best served between 42 and 48 degrees. 44 is that prime temperature. Even getting up to 55 degrees with some. So you can serve it in a chilled glass, not a frozen mug. We talked about that the other day. No beer slushies. Say no to beer slushies. But the cold beer, what that does is it covers up for the flavor. So when you're filtering beer, you're filtering out the flavor. And so you need to make it colder so that you can make up for the lack of flavor in the beer, and it just becomes a refreshment beer so that you can drink more of those and then add up the alcohol, then you add up the calories. You actually end up passing the amount of calories that you would have drank by enjoying another beer that you may have been able to try. So don't buy into the hype. A lot of great marketers out there, light with great marketers. We had the great marketers again with the Coors Light. Remember Spuds McKenzie with the Bud Light. So, and then the Bud Bowls with Bud versus Bud Light, that type of thing. You got money, you can get the public to believe anything. So we're going to try these beers today. We're going to do a little who's the best of the best when it comes to light beers and the bad boys of beer. So I guess we'll start with Bud Light, which is the king of light beers at this time. Light beers are Pilsner beers, and there's obviously Pilsner glasses. I've got 3 different glasses here, so I'm going to use all of them. So I guess we'll start by cracking open Bud Light. So actually, you know what? Opener. I was going to open this Bud Light. I'm going to show you something. A little public service message for you here too. So, you know, you go out to a party or you go somewhere and there's no bottle opener. And so you have that friend that likes to show off, and they open your beer for you with a ring. I've seen that. I can't imagine what that does to your finger. I've seen people do it with their mouth, which is, you know, with their teeth. Dentists love you because you're giving them more money. I certainly don't want a beer that's been in somebody's mouth. I personally have opened beers on the edges of tables and countertops and broken a lot of furniture that way by slamming it down, taking that top off. It also makes it foam a lot more when you release the CO2 that fast. You know, you got that person that likes to open them with lighters. If you're carrying a lighter, you're a smoker, you're making bad decisions in life anyway. I don't want you touching my beer. So I've got a little public service announcement. Let me help you here. So you take take a normal piece of paper, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You fold this baby in half. All right, let's fold it in half this way again. We're gonna fold it in half a 3rd time. We got that. We're gonna fold it in half a 4th time. We're here. And fold it in half one last time for some strength. So we're right here now. I can't make that my thumbnail because if I'm holding something up like that, it's gonna look like a whole different video. All right, fold it one last time in half. So now we've got a little bit like that. All right. So we're gonna take a beer. Let's take we'll take a Bud Light. You're gonna take your piece of paper. You take it to the top here. Right off. So a cool little home remedy for cracking bottle caps. Just a piece of paper. You can do it with a paper towel even. There's a whole bunch of ways to open bottles, but that's my public service for you here now. So, Bud Light. So let's pour ourselves a Bud Light here. So a Bud Light, light color in the Pilsner. That's a perfect pour. 2-finger pour for me. Really no color to it. Obviously, it's all it's a light beer in color. It's a light beer in flavor. So carries a pretty good head. Bud Light drinkers, please, even though there's not a whole lot of aroma and flavor in a light beer, you still want that head. So when your server at a restaurant brings it to you and you've got any kind of head on there and you say, bring it back, fill my glass, that is not what you want to do. You still want the aroma, cereal, little banana, little just rice, wheat. Light. It's okay. That's what we can do here. Put the light next to the light. Let's go to Coors Light. The mountains are blue. It is cold. Pour on the Coors Light. Same golden color. It's kind of what they're famous for, is golden. Not as much of a head. Not as good of a head. We've only got a 1-finger pour on the head. Kind of a more of an off taste, more of an off smell on that one than there is for the Bud Light. MoBeer. No, not a fan of that one. Excuse me, Tommy. All right, and Miller Lite in its original Steiny bottle from back in the day. This is the original bottle. One take, no edits. Pour in the Miller Lite. One take, no edits on opening the bottle as well when it came to the homemade bottle opener. So we got a Miller Lite. And this one's a little more golden than the Bud Light as well. 1-finger head, no lacing. A little bit of lacing. Yeah, getting that off skunk flavor smell. a little more smooth, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you can see our colors in here. So the Bud Light, a little bit lighter in color than the other two. You can see that the head in the Coors Light goes away a lot faster. And so the beer is going to get flat a lot faster. That Bud Light, even though I poured it first, still has the head up. And then the Miller Lite's kind of holding too. It's going away. Miller Lite has the best lacing, and your clean glasses. All these are clean glasses, so they all have the same kind of opportunity here. So that's a little bit about light beers for you here today. As I personally judge these beers, if I had to drink a light beer, I'd probably choose Bud Light. It was the best of the three. Again, don't care what the hipsters say. I don't care what the beer snobs say, and I've been accused of being both. There's a beer out there for everybody. You drink what you like. Just experiment. Make sure you try them all, and make sure you expand out there, because beer is good. Beer is great. Mo ho ho. Merry Beermas.